بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سنستكمل the explanation of chapter number 5 about motivation theory. We here study the motivation concept or motivation theories to study the organizational behavior and what are the theories that affect and shape organizational behavior that we know the job satisfaction or job dissatisfaction through these theories. We study in the last lecture the theory of Herzberg, two factors of Herzberg, and Maslow hierarchy or Maslow pyramid for needs. We will continue to study the theories in motivation chapter. We reach at the goal setting theory. What is the goal setting theory? The basic premise for this theory is that specific and difficult goals with self-generated feedback lead to higher performance. So if we participate in setting of these goals, even at difficult goals, we will be able to feedback for these for the achievement and lead to higher performance because we are participating in setting these goals. But the relationship between goals and performance will depend on the goal commitment already, that we need to achieve our goals, that we need goal commitment. I want to do it, I can, and I can do it. Also the performance of the goals and achievement will depend on task characteristics, like it must be simple and well learned and align with national culture or organizational culture. So we may here start to talk about smart objectives. We will later see that the specific and measurable, timeable, the objectives must be smart. So we will explain that in the next slides. Okay, the goal setting theory is an important theory in studying the motivation and what are these theories shape the organizational behavior. So when we talk about goal setting theory, we must talk about MBO programs at management by objectives. What is management by objectives? Management by objectives programs, company-wide goals and objectives must be set with participation with all levels of employees. Goals also must be aligned to all levels of the employees. Already this management by objectives program or management by objective philosophy or management by objective approach must be based on goal setting theory, that we call that the basic premise that there is participation in self participation in the goal setting, and there is a self-generated feedback that lead to higher performance. So what is MBO? MBO, management by objectives, that a program that encompasses specific goals participatively set for an explicit time period with feedback on goals progress. So we participate as management, as top management, participate all levels of organization, all employees in the goal settings and the objective settings to increase the commitment to achieve these goals and make a self-generated feedback. What are the key elements of management by objectives? The goal specificity. So when we call this objectives must be smart. The first S stand for specific. The goal or the objective must be specific, and the other key element in MBO is participative decision making. So when we participate all levels of organization, of employees, top management and middle management and supervisory management participate in goal settings and objective settings, so there is a participative decision making. Also an explicit time period, so we have to define what is the period of these to achieve these objectives, and this will lead to performance feedback, or we called it before a self-generated feedback. Okay. When we will talk this slide about the hierarchy of objectives, cascading of the objectives. We call the overall organization objectives. So we have in the hierarchy of organization, there is divisional objectives, departmental objectives, and individual objectives. So here, overall of organization, regarding to the whole organization target, what is if it is organization for education, organization for service, organization for goods, what are the main purpose of this organization. The divisional objectives, regarding to the divisions, what are numbers of divisions here: quality division, marketing division, production division. So here talk about consumer products division, or industrial products division, or service division. Departmental objectives regarding to the production department, sales, customer, marketing, research, development. At this level, departmental levels may be inside divisional objectives. So we have one divisional objectives and multi-departmental objectives. One divisional objective and more than our number of departmental objectives. In the final level, we, or as employees, we have individual objectives. So this all shape cascading of objectives that will be in participative environmental as a goal setting theory. When we linking the MBO, management by objectives, and goal setting theory, we must say that goal must be specific. This is already yes, and management by objectives and the goal, and aligned with goal setting theory premise, basic premise. Goal difficulty, that must be the employees at all levels must be participated in the setting of these goal difficulty to lead to higher performance. And there is a feedback already, or self-feedback, self-generated feedback as we say, and must be participation. This is maybe in MBO, this is a philosophy of MBO, is that the organization set its goals or its objectives in participatory manner between all amongst all levels of organization. But we have some shortcomings, or why the MBO's or management by objectives program fails. The reasons for fails here, three reasons. The first one, unrealistic expectation about MBO results. May we say here over expectation, over dependent on the results of the MBO. Lack of the commitment by top management. So if the top management where is not commitment to proceed or to participate or to adopt the MBO philosophy, that must there maybe affect the final achievement. So the lack of the commitment by top management for MBO maybe affect MBO program fail. Also the failure to allocate rewarded properly. So when we adopt the management by objectives program, we must allocate a reward system, justice or justiceful rewarding system, and equity reward system. So all the employees will participate, and they will be rewarded regarding to their achievement. Another reason maybe MBOs fails in organization regarding to cultural incompatibilities. So when we talk about the diversity level of the organization, maybe intersection or opposition for or contrast between more than one culture, may this cause the MBO program fails. When we still in the goal setting theory, we must talk about self-efficiency. Self-efficiency. What is self-efficiency? An individual's feeling that the individual or her employee feeling that he or she can complete a task. I know I can. So if you don't feel that you are able to achieve this goals, these objectives, it must be a defect here or error that that maybe prevent you to proceed to achieve their goals. So self-efficacy enhance probability that goals will be achieved. Okay, not to be confused with self-esteem. We must here distinguish between the two terms, self-efficacy and self-esteem. Self-esteem is referred to individual degree of liking or disliking themselves. We must be here distinguish between two terms here. Okay, we will continue in this chapter, motivation theories. When we linking the self-efficiency to the goal-setting theory, we have this exhibit here, the joint effects of goals and self-efficiency in performance. As we align the management by objectives here to goal setting theory. Also, the self efficiency is the heart of achieving the goal setting theory. So, managers set difficult, specific goals for job or task. Individuals have their confidence, and individuals then will achieve more or lead to higher performance. This linkage between self efficiency and goal settings. There are four ways here. Talk about four ways to increase of increasing the self-efficacy. The first way is inactive mastery, vicarious modeling, and verbal persuasion and arousal. So here, basic premise when we talk about self-efficiency, that mechanism of Paymelon and Gillette effects. What is all this slide may be difficult for us to interpret now. So there, when we talk about the self-efficacy, that we must avoid the mastery, avoid and we must make a vicarious modeling, and must we use verbal persuasion and to increase our self-efficacy. So here we will talk about the important thing here. We will from the beginning, the goal setting theory, basic premise that there is an action. The goal setting theory in action is MBO. Then the self-efficacy is the more important thing or more important term to link with the goal setting theory. So reinforcement, another theory after goal setting theory is reinforcement theory. This theory argues that behavior is a function of its consequences. So there are many consequences that affect the behavior. The basic assumption here for this theory is behavioral behavior is environmentally caused. Behavior can be modified, reinforced by providing controlling consequences. We talk here about the contingency factors or the situational factors that affect the organization. So here talk about this behavioral already is environmental cause, and there is many situational factors, many contingency factors, many controlling consequences that affect our behavior and organization. So reinforced behavior tends to be repeated by these environmental causes. That mean we behave in a way that may be repeated regarding to the contingency factors that affecting our behavior. Another theory here, it's not maybe important, but we will pass it through quickly. Equity theory, that this theory basic premise that individuals compare their job inputs and outcomes with others, with another employees, with another organization. So he referred comparison. The comparison will be self inside and self outside, other inside and other outside. What does that mean here? So here the ratio we will not focus in this theory, equity theory. Just we must know the theory here, equity, that we must compare our job inputs and outcomes with others, and respond to eliminating any inequities. So we will here we'll talk about the choices for dealing with inequity. When whatever you achieved in any inequity in the organization or the behavior, so we need to change the inputs, maybe change the outcomes, distort, change perception of self. These are the reasons for inequity. We must, as we say here, to eliminate any inequities. So these must be eliminated, or the change. We must change our inputs to the work, maybe shape the behavior. May we change outcomes to increase outputs that will change the behavior and achieve equity and eliminate inequity. We will minimize the distort of change perception of self. When here maybe we talk about increasing the self efficiency, distort the change perception of other. When here talk about the perception, how to increase the positive perception about others, about things, about objects. Also, to achieve the equity and eliminate inequity, we must choose a different person, a different. We must maybe I compare my employees with some numbers of employees, and maybe employees in another department. So we must be differentiate our referring persons. So maybe inequity at all cause the leave of the field or quit the job. This is the inequity, maybe to lead to leave the field or quit the job. The proposition related to inequitability pay. Here we will explain this regarding that there must be a justice or an effective reward system. We proceed for this in the first, when we explain that goal setting theory must need an effective rewarding system and justice, and to achieve justice in the organization. So here over rewarded hourly employees produce more than equitable rewards employees. This, if we make this will relating, or this will achieve inequitability. To achieve equity, and must be equity in the organization and spread justice, we must not overburden our employees produce more than equitable rewards employees. Also, we must avoid over rewarded piecework employees produce less but do higher quality piecework. Under-rewarded hourly employees produce lower quality work, and under-rewarded employees produce larger quantities of lower quality piece for work than equitability reward book. We talk about here to we must adopt, and we must prepare a justice reward system and effective reward system regarding to the quality and the quantity here. So we will talk about justice and equity theory. What is justice and equity theory? So here there's three kinds of justice. There is a descriptive justice, or perceived fairness of outcome. I got the pay raise I deserve. So here a reward system based on the fairness of outcome or the achievement. The procedural justice definition here, perceived fairness of a process used to determine outcome. Here example, I had input into the process used to give raises and was given a good explanation of why I received and what are the procedures you must follow to achieve the justice. Here, interactional justice definition, perceived degree to which one is treated with dignity and respect. Also, when we talk about the effective or justice reward system, we must deal the employees with dignity and respect. Example here, when telling me about my raise, my supervisor was very nice and complimentary. Okay, all these three levels of descriptive justice and the procedural justice and interactional justice will achieve the overall organization justice. The definition here for organizational justice is overall perception of what is fair in the workplace. Example, I think this is fair place for work. I think this is a fair place for work. Whenever you achieve the overall system of justice here, we say that this is a fair place to work here. So here the three types of three justice that we explained: descriptive justice, procedural justice, and interactional justice. So another theory, and the last theory here, is the expectancy theory. So what is the expectancy theory? We have as employees individual, we exert individual efforts. This will lead to individual performance. Then will this may be adopted in organizational words reward system here, so the personal goals will be achieved. So the first one, effort performance relationship, performance regarding reward relationship, and the reward regarding to personal. There must be alignment between individual performance lead to adopt organizational system, organizational effective reward system. This will match the personal goals. All these motivation, all these theories, we study to understand what shape our organizational behavior, what shape our employees' behavior in the organization. These the motivation theory. So here, individual must feel that if they try, they can perform, and if they perform, they will be rewarded. And and when they are rewarded, the reward will be something that they care about. يعني نتكلم هنا على تتابعية في العمل بخصوص اللي هو عندما يشعر الموظفين بأنهم يحاولون ويجتهدون، فبالتالي هم سيكافئون، وهذه المكافأة ستكون عادلة وشيء يكون من إيش؟ من اهتماماتهم فيها. سنتوقف إن شاء الله عند هذا الشابتر ونستكمل في الشابتر القادم. هنا بعض اللي هو chapter check up motivation. You must as students look to these examples, to these stories, and to check up what are you catch up with this chapter. So here we have a question here about expectancy theory. What would a gym membership be considered as motivator or hygiene factors according to the Herzberg? We know that Herzberg theory, we have two kind of motivators. So we call the first category is hygiene motivators, and the other are motivator factors. Discuss please this this issue with your revision. So we will start here and we will continue to another chapter, chapter number 6. Thank you for your patience. Thank you very much.